What's up, fellas? Welcome back to another episode of Survimon, my little Pokemon game tutorial series. In the last episode, we got our game up and running with some... Oh my god, I just sold a card. I've been selling like mad. We got our game up and running with a character that can walk around a map, but no collision. So today I wanted to get collision done. Unfortunately, I have to leave for work in like 20 minutes. So all I'm going to be able to do right now is make a little preview video, but I think that's good to get a little explanation pre-lesson for you guys so you guys understand what I'm coding. So I have Microsoft Paint opened up. I'm going to do a little lecture, kind of like one of my favorite YouTubers, Pirate Software, loves Microsoft Paint. So shout out to Microsoft Paint and Pirate Software. But anyway, so what do we have right now? We've got, our map and our character. So we have our character as a square because it is a div for all effects and purposes in the code. I know it has an image on it, but it has a height here and a width. Oh my god, feels like college. And then we got this top value, and then we got this left value. Okay. So these are important numbers. First of all, we're going to want to define when, so we have this room here. We're going to use rooms. I know right now we have a map, but a map contains multiple rooms, so you have a room shooting off like this. The only rule is we can only have one edge touching it. If we had rooms like this, we couldn't then do something like this. We'd have to, do this, and if we wanted to form all four corners here so that multiple edges could be touching, we would just make the square of the room, because if we're in this corner here, we're gonna have a problem. Okay, if we're inside a room, we're gonna be good. So if we're gonna start inside a room, so let's kind of erase some of this. I need to probably increase my stroke. How do you do this on Paint? I need to get good. Oh, probably over here. Yep. Boop, boop. All right, so let's erase some of this. We're going to want to focus on these values here. Height, width, top, and left. Okay, so when we're inside this box, the box itself also has its own height, width, top, and left. I'm not going to draw it, but, these values. So basically, when is this square inside? So an important part is that this line here is between these two lines, right? And really, it's between, if we put the H of the character here, this line has to be between these two lines, because once it goes below here, then we know the bottom of the character. So what is this here? This is going to be the top of the room. So TR. And then this is going to be the top of the room plus the height of the room, right? Plus height of the room. Oh, this looks so stupid. So this is HR. Right, so the top plus this minus this little h. Okay? So we'll say plus big H is the height of the room minus little h. Right, and then we can simplify this. This is big T, and then the top of the room would be little t, right? So over here we have this limit, and then over here we have this guy. So the little t here, this is little t, sorry. Such a bad teacher. This little t has to be between this and this for us to be set in the vertical. All right, there's an equivalent of the horizontal like this, that the width has, or that the little L has to be between big L and big L plus big W minus little w, right? And so if both this line is between this line and this line, and then we also have this line here being between this line and another line that is offset by W, right? If those two are true, then we are inside this room, okay? So that's one important part we have figured out. Let's just erase this whole ugly mess. So we're going to write a function called inside in our code. that checks to make sure those two conditions are true, and then it'll say, oh, you're inside this room, okay? So that's how to figure out which room you're inside, okay? So let's say you are inside a room. How do we know if you can continue to walk around? Well, if you bump into an edge, you will know that one of the conditions are true. Either big T equals little t here, and you're on the top edge. If big L equals little l, you're on the back edge here. If big L plus big W minus little w equals if big L plus big W equals little l plus little w, right? Because that's the right edge, is the left plus the extra of the width. And so this one would be big T plus big H equals little t plus little h. So this is how you figure out if you're on an edge. And if you're on an edge, we'll block that movement direction. Okay, so I have a specific edge case for each. But let's say we're going to check, and if you're also, and if you're on the edge here, but let's say, you're not in this room, you might be close to this edge, but like you're way over here. You're technically lining up with this top, but you also have to still meet the boundary conditions of being inside that room. So you still have to be, in the right left position. So we'll check that again. If you're also, if you're on the edge of this, if you're also on the edge of another room and within its parameters, its two walls, then we'll let you no longer be blocked by the wall, okay? So we'll have these conditions, which will block you, and then we'll have an exception for when you're on two edges at the same time. So those are our goals for next time with our rooms. I'm going to film that later tonight. Hope that made a little bit of sense for you guys. This is kind of an IOU video because I don't have time to film, but I will make sure to upload something cool for you guys tonight to make this make a little more sense, but I hope this is a good preview for what's to come. You guys could try to code it on your own if you're absolute experts. That would be pretty cool. But anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment if you're confused, as I'm sure you are. Subscribe, of course, to make sure you stay tuned, and have a good day!